that had to be one of the most exciting, one of the most epic, one of the most crazy games that you will ever see the Philadelphia Eagles play. Down by 10 at halftime to the Buffalo Bills, rocking the Kelly Greens, jerseys looked fresh. The offense was not fresh. Josh Allen with the momentum-changing touchdown to Stephon Diggs at the end of that first half. Eagles with a couple of giveaways in the first two quarters. Yet somehow they scratch and claw their way back to win this football game. And against Buffalo in the second half and overtime, they scored 30 points to win in overtime as Jalen Hurts on a designed quarterback draw, real estate in front of him, the seas departed, gets the walk-off win. Final score, 37 Philadelphia, Buffalo 34, and the Eagles maintain the best record in the NFC. They continue to be the number one seed in this conference and the best record in the National Football League. It's crazy how this game transpired, and it's wild what we saw with how poorly the Eagles played in that first half. And then you factor that with everything that occurred in the lead up to this game. Lane Johnson wakes up with the sore groin. He can't play. Fletcher Cox goes out. Zach Cunningham goes out. Eagles suffer a couple of injuries. But all the Philadelphia Eagles do under Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni is win, win, win. This is a championship level team. This is a team that has such great mental fortitude that never gets flustered. They never get down and out when they are down. And they had every reason to mail it in. They went on Monday night against the Kansas City Chiefs, exacting Super Bowl revenge against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. It's a short week. The weather is awful. They're sloppy with the football. Their third down defense was getting carved up. You have a rematch of the NFC Championship game coming up on Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers. Other teams would pack it in. Other teams would be fragile and they would fold. Not the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, first half passing yards last week, 46. First half passing yards today, 33. Jalen Hurts in the first two quarters was 4 of 11 for 33 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, and a passer rating of 7. He had 7 carries for 22 rushing yards. That's good for an average yards per pop of 3.1. He had a touchdown. He had a fumble. He had some giveaways. But Jalen Hurts played like an MVP in coming back from 10 against Patrick Mahomes. He played like an MVP coming back from 10 against Josh Allen. And anybody out there who tries to say that Hurts is not worthy of the MVP discussion because they're lazy box score viewers and they just look at the stats and they say, oh, Jalen Hurts, he doesn't really do all that much. He today accounted for 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. What do MVPs do? They win in a big spot. They put the team on their back when they're down and lead them to a massive victory like this against a quality opponent and against a team that was desperate. Dak Prescott would never do this. The Dallas Cowboys would never do this. So F Dallas. And you look at the NFC playoff picture right now. Philadelphia going into this game against the San Francisco 49ers at Lincoln Financial Field after they returned home to Philadelphia today for the first time in 3 weeks, 10-1 record. Even if they lose to the San Francisco 49ers, they still have the better overall record. Thank you to the Green Bay Packers for taking down the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving, dropping the Lions to that 3 spot. They are 8-3. Atlanta Falcons with the big win over the Saints, unseat New Orleans in the NFC South. They are now the 4 seed. And then the 5 through 7 seeds, Dallas Cowboys 8-3, Minnesota Vikings at 6-5, and the Seattle Seahawks at 6-5. This is as good as it gets. This was absolutely unbelievable theater. And we've been accustomed to seeing some of these insane level wins that have become customary for this Philadelphia team. And that's a credit to Jeffrey Lurie for him being a great owner. It's a credit to Howie Roseman for him gathering all this talent. It's a credit to Nick Sirianni for the coaching, the development, the mentality, the culture that takes place, but also some of these halftime adjustments. Sean Desai, Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni, they made some really good adjustments. And I know that this Bills offense put up 505 yards of total offense. Josh Allen is a stud. The plays that he made out of structure were special. 29-51, 332 yards. Thought the Eagles' rushing defense was pretty good at moments outside of one of those final drives. The James Bradbury interception was huge for Philadelphia. The Eagles got dominated in time of possession from 40 minutes and 30 seconds to 26 minutes and 53 seconds. There is no way that the Eagles should win a game like this, putting up these types of numbers with the pace and the style of this football game. But again, the championship identity, the clutch gene, Jalen Hurts being a dog, players making big-time plays at big-time moments. Embrace this stretch of football for the Philadelphia Eagles because this is special. Arguably, the other MVP outside of Jalen Hurts is Jake Elliott. We're about to talk about him in just a moment. But first, our post-game show and instant reaction is sponsored by Prize Picks. $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS. This is daily fantasy sports made easy, and it's the largest independently run daily fantasy sports app in North America. I went with a little bit of a four-legger for my Prize Picks selections on this fine Sunday, and I didn't end up winning, but I don't really care because we were certainly close. A.J. Brown, 6 catches. He had 5 of them. But Jalen Hurts, half rushing touchdown, he got it. Gabe Davis, more than 35.5 receiving yards, he got it. Josh Sweat, not able to get after Josh Allen as the Eagles as a team only had 1 sack on the afternoon. Pretty fitting that it happened with Brandon Graham on the day that he set the record for the most games played in an Eagles uniform. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Easy and exciting daily fantasy where you can win real money and up to 25 times your money. Get signed up today. The app is free, and you get that $100 deposit match using our link in our promo code. Let's talk about Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott really embodies what this organization is about. Jake Elliott represents the calmness that this Eagles team operates with. And Jake Elliott, in a driving rainstorm, is able to tie this game up and force overtime on a kick that he drilled with room to spare from 59 yards out. Jake Elliott has never missed a game-tying or go-ahead field goal attempt in the final 2 minutes of regulation or in overtime. He is now a perfect 8 of 8. And on the day that Brandon Graham unseated David Akers for the most games played in an Eagles uniform, we got flashbacks of Jake Elliott hitting a good kick just like David Akers would do back in the day. When you have a kicker like Jake Elliott who can be as clutch as he's been, that is a game changer. And you think about what happened with Buffalo, they missed 2 kicks. One from 48 yards out, and then they had another kick blocked from 34 yards out. That is pretty much the difference in a football game like this. When you can rely on what Jake Elliott is, and that is him being a weapon. And what's funny is that people are going to try to discredit the Eagles winning this football game. They're going to try to say that the Eagles are overrated. Look, they just started a 5-game gauntlet with 2 wins on the road against Patrick Mahomes and at home coming back from 10 against Josh Allen. San Francisco, Dallas, and Seattle coming up to round out that 5-game gauntlet. But what Philadelphia has done here is they've put themselves in a position where they have a little bit of wiggle room. Yet they still have the best record in the NFL and the number 1 seed in the NFC. For Hurts, 18 of 31, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, and I'm going to put the fumble on him. Casual fans will say that Jalen Hurts isn't good, that Jalen Hurts puts up empty stats. Producer Chip and I were talking about this. There were people saying that Jalen Hurts is not a threat to actually run the football outside of the brotherly shove. What happened for the game-tying score? Quarterback draw, takes the snap, looks right, whole defense shifts over that side, and then he runs to the left. That's great speed. That's good acceleration. That's a good play call. And that's Jalen Hurts getting the damn job done. Jalen Hurts, ladies and gentlemen, is now 24-2 in the regular season over the last 2 seasons. He is 26-3 if you include the playoffs. We are witnessing the best stretch for an Eagles quarterback of all time. And we've seen some good ones here. Randall Cunningham, Ron Jaworski, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Carson Wentz in 2017 when he would have been the MVP, some backup stepping in some critical junctures, and getting some clutch wins. Nobody has ever done what Jalen Hurts is doing right now. And people try to tell me that wins don't matter as a quarterback. You kidding me? 26-3 doesn't matter. 26-3 isn't impressive. The Eagles never panicking. The Eagles never getting rattled. The Eagles never pissing down their leg isn't a credit to the demeanor of Jalen Hurts, him always being a flatliner and even keel. Your quarterback sets the tone for the rest of your organization. And that's what makes Jalen Hurts special. And that's only a couple of reasons why he's special. Look at his day. 5 total touchdowns, 265 total yards, a pick, a quarterback rating of 96.2. It was 7 in the first half. 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. He has 11 rushing touchdowns this year, which is number 1 in the NFL. Another big day for Devontae Smith as well. 7 grabs for a $106. Had a touchdown, long of 33. Skinny Batman, Slim Reaper, putting back-to-back really solid performances together against Kansas City and against Buffalo. And in the last 2 games, when A.J. Brown has been held in check, it's been Devontae Smith who's elevated. And what's interesting is that we talked about this when Dallas Goedert got hurt. That when Goedert got hurt last year and missed 5 games, Devontae Smith's play elevated. Last 2 games without Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith has been sensational. He's a number 1 who's a number 2 on this team, but you basically call him a 1B to A.J. Brown being a 1A. But in today's NFL, Jalen Hurts has all these weapons. Elite teams have legit weapons because elite talent is what it takes to win at a high level in this game. DeAndre Swift, I know a lot of people are going to be talking about Brian Johnson. I hated the first half game plan. I tweeted this out. I said it live. He called the game as if he was scared and probably should have run it a little bit more to DeAndre Swift. He is a game changer at the running back spot. I said it before the year. He's better than Miles Sanders. He's more gifted than Miles Sanders. And some of the plays that he can turn from nothing into something just keeps the ball moving for Philadelphia. Let's talk about Josh Allen before we wrap things up a little bit. And we'll get to your super chats as well on the post-game show. Josh Allen, 29 of 51, 339 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. I don't know if the pick was on him or Stephon Diggs. It was a good break on the ball by James Bradbury. And then 9 carries for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen is a special player. Josh Allen can do some freakish things with the football. During our pregame show leading up to the watch party, I had said one of the biggest keys, contain Josh Allen. Keep him inside that tackle box. Do not allow him to extend plays, make plays with his legs, running, but also create plays with his legs and then throw it. He did that to a really, really impressive degree. This is more about the Eagles scoring 30 points in the second half and overtime, led by Jalen Hurts. And again, if it wasn't for Sirianni and Hurts setting the tone for this culture, these types of wins don't happen because these wins are very difficult to come by. The satire scrolls, $5. Kyle Brandt is going to be on his 1776 crossing the Delaware rant after this one. Dare I say, a team of destiny? Let's hope. Because right now, it has been special for this Eagles team. Helen Galloway, $10. Eagles all day. That was the Sunday night game. I want that tumbler that you got, Chase. Let's go. A lot of much-needed stress-relieving sips out of this here today, Helen. JC Mahav, here's $17 for the Kelly Green OG Harold Carmichael. JC, thank you for that. Romeo, Skinny Batman finally breaks 100 yards again. Look, like I said, back-to-back excellent performances for Devontae Smith. This is a win that we're going to remember for a long time. This is a win that is absolutely legendary. This is a win that was shocking, thrilling, crazy, insane, any adjective that you want to use. This game featured it all. And for the Eagles to score that many points after the break in this weather, with how bad and poorly they played in that first half, as good as it gets. And this one should be celebrated. Not for long, though, because the Niners coming to town on Sunday. The Eagles win! The Eagles win! As Merrill Reese would say, the Eagles win! Type LFG in the chat. What a dub. Thanks to everybody who tuned into the watch party. 140,000 views and counting. We're going to continue to kick it live and celebrate this one here on Eagles Now. Thanks for watching and supporting the show as always.